Hi there, today we're going to be looking at negative exponents. So any non-zero number to the 0 power is 1. Okay, so if I have, first of all, 3 to the 0 power, that's always going to be equal to 1. Okay, so no big deal there. Yep. Okay. Any non-zero number to a negative n power is the multiplicative inverse of the number to the nth power, meaning that if I have a number like, let's just say x to the negative 2 power, then that's going to be 1 over x squared. Okay, so think of it this way. When I see negative exponents, I'm going to have to say, yep, time for you to move downstairs. If I was to see 1 over x to the negative 2, I don't want negative exponents, so I'm going to have to move him upstairs to the x squared over there. So you don't really want to have negative exponents in your work that you're working with, so you want to move them upstairs or downstairs depending upon where they are to get them in the right spot so that the exponent is positive. Some examples here of writing expressions using positive exponent. If I have 7 to the negative third power, that's a negative third, and right now we're upstairs, so I move everybody downstairs. So I end up with 1 over 7 thirds. Okay? Alright, then 8 to the negative fourth. Right now he's living upstairs. I'm going to move him downstairs to 1 over 8 to the fourth. So that's the idea. Okay, if you have to evaluate, the first thing you want to do is move that guy where he needs to go, moving him downstairs, and then 1 over 5 to the fourth, then you do the work down below, and that becomes 1 over 625. So we're just figuring out the 5 to the fourth part and dropping that in there. Same here as well. First thing we want to do is move that downstairs, whoop, down there, and then work out the multiplication part, right? So that's what that is there, solving it there. So moving things around, essentially if it's a negative exponent, move it to the denominator and then solve it is the basic idea today. Okay, sometimes they want you to write it as a negative exponent going the other way. So if I have it downstairs and I want to write it with a negative exponent, then I'm going to move it upstairs and turn it into a negative exponent value there. Okay, and so you can do that there. You can also simplify if you have exponents here with the same base. Okay, remember with if the bases are the same, what are we going to do? We're going to add them up. So we keep the base the same, x, and then we have negative 3 and a 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. So even if you have negative exponents here, if the base is the same, when you're multiplying them together, you just add the exponents. Same here, right? This becomes, you can think about it as a subtraction. W stays a W, and I can think of this as negative 5 minus a minus 7 if you like, right? If we just did subtraction like we did before, okay? It's just subtracting. When you're dividing, you're subtracting, so that becomes positive, positive. 7 minus 5 is 2. Okay? It's one way of thinking about it. You could also think of it this way. This could become rewritten as W to the negative 5th times W to the 7th, and then again adding them up like so. Okay? However you want to do it. All right? This is also a great one to think of this way. W to the negative 5 means he's living in the wrong spot. He needs to move downstairs, right? This becomes W to the 5th here. This guy's down negative here, so he needs to move upstairs. W to 7, and now I have the same base. 7 minus 5 is 2. Same way of doing it. So 3 ways to get to the same spot. Let's get a couple examples here. Write this expression using a positive exponent. So instead of a to the negative 8, we're going to move him downstairs and write it like that. So instead of 6 to the negative 3, we're going to move the 6 downstairs and keep the exponent the same. N to the negative 4, we move them downstairs and keep the exponent the same. Evaluate. Well, that means first move them downstairs, so 7 squared, and 7 squared is 49. Evaluate means move them downstairs, and 9 times 9 times 9, I don't know. So 9, 9, 9, 729, so 1 over 729. And over here, same thing. We move them downstairs, so we have negative 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which equals 32. It's an odd number of times, so I'm going to have a 1 over 32, and it's negative. Oops, ran out of space there, sorry. Okay, write each fraction as an expression using a negative exponent. So now we're going to go the other way. We're going to move them upstairs, so we're going to go 5 to the negative 7. Moving that guy upstairs, so 3 to the negative 6. Moving him upstairs, so x to the negative 8. And then finally simplify using positive exponents. I have the bases are the same, so that's 4. We can add negative 2 plus a negative 4. The signs are the same. I find the sum and keep the sign the same. That's negative 6. So this is really rewritten as 1 over 4 to the 6th power. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This becomes 1 over 4096. Right? So I got to do some work there. Here, same idea. I can rewrite this as r to the 5th over r, move that guy downstairs to the 3rd. Subtracting becomes r squared. Then over here, going to move that guy downstairs. So you have 1 over h to the 4th times h squared. The base is the same. Add those up. So that becomes 1 over h to the 6th power there. So there's lots of examples there. Your homework is almost identical. So work on that and then come back and check your answers and see how you did. See you in a minute. All right, here we go. Working on the negatives. We're going to write them as a positive. So all we have to do is move that guy downstairs. So 1 and 4/5 in the bottom. Move that guy downstairs. M to the 9th. Move him downstairs. F to the 3rd. Move him downstairs. Negative 4 to the 3rd. Right? Pretty straightforward there. Now, let's evaluate. Here we're going to go move them downstairs, negative 5 to the 5th power. Then I have to multiply that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have 1 over 3,125. For this one, we're going to move them downstairs, 8 to the 3rd. So 8, 1, 2, 3. And that's going to be 1 over 512. The 13, write each fraction as an expression using a negative exponent. So now we're going to move them upstairs. So this becomes 12 to the negative 3. This becomes t to the negative 6. Right? Yeah, it looks like a 6. All right, now we're going to simplify expressions. All right, so this becomes moving this guy downstairs. This guy stays upstairs. So we have 2 over 3, and we have 2 over 6. There's one way of thinking about it. Or I could just say the same bases and then add them up. Negative 6 plus 3 works the same way. Negative 6 positive 3 is a negative 3, or 3 minus 6 is still going to be a negative 3. All right, so I end up with 2 to the negative 3, or that's 1 over 2 to the 3rd, which is 1 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 1 to the 8th. This one here, I can subtract. Now notice though, this is a minus 4. So this is 8 minus a minus 4, which means add, so I end up with 12. Okay, I could also think of this as moving this guy upstairs. So I'd have m to the 8th times m to the 4th. And as you can see, we add them up and we still end up with 12. Number 21. All right, this is y negative 3, y to the 3rd. Again, I'm adding up the exponents because the base is the same. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. So y to the 0 power, which means it's equal to 1. Anything in the 0 power is 1. Here, we can again move that upstairs if we wanted to have x to the 6th times x cubed. We're going to add our exponents to have x to the 9th power. 25. This guy moves upstairs, so we have 3 to the 3rd power. This guy moves downstairs, so I have 3 to the 5th power. One way of thinking about it. And then I would subtract 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Alright, 3 minus 5 is negative 2, which is 1 over 3 squared, which is 1 over 9. One way of thinking about it. Okay. Another way of thinking about it is I could move that one up by itself and leave just 1 up there times 3 like that, moving just the bottom one up, and then add those up, which is still 3 and negative 2, and then I'm still back to doing that, 1 over 9. Alright, now this last one here, we're going to move this guy downstairs. That one's fine down there. So we have 1 over n to the 4th times n to the 6th Gonna add those guys up, so 1 over into the 10th, and leave it just like that. All right, that's it for today. Hope that helps you out a little bit, and we'll see you next time.